So the question was about number 14. Remember in a 30, 60, 90, to get from the hypotenuse to the short leg, you take half. From the short leg to the hypotenuse, you double it. So if we take half of the hypotenuse, the short leg x will be just 5 root 3. Next, to go from the short leg to the long leg, we'll multiply it by root 3. So y is equal to the short leg multiplied by root 3. And we can multiply the numbers under the square root sign. 3 times 3 is 9. And 5 times the square root of 9 is 5 times 3. So y is equal to 15. Now your question was about simple radical form. And if I'm looking at your email, you said you want to convert it to a number, and you tried to convert 10 root 3 into a number. Well, the issue there, buddy, is that 10 root 3, that is simple radical form. So let's talk about what it means for a number to be in simple radical form. There will be no denominators, no radicals in the denominator, and also no perfect square factors in the radicand, the expression under the radical sign. So let's look at a couple of examples. 5 over the square root of 7. Well, we can't have radicals in the bottom if it's in simple radical form. So we'll multiply by the value of 1 in the form of the square root of 7 over the square root of 7. We always choose the radical that's in the denominator. You multiply by that radical over itself. Multiplying by 1, we won't change the value at all, but we will change the form. In the numerator, we have 5 root 7, and on the bottom, we have the square root of 49, or the square root of 7 squared, which is just 7. So we have 5 root 7 over 7, a simple radical form. There are no perfect square factors under the radical sign because the only factors of 7 are 1 and 7. Neither 1 nor 7 is a perfect square. So let's see an example where there is a perfect square in the radicand. How about the square root of 48? Well, there's definitely a perfect square there. 4 will divide into there 12 times. But notice that 12 also has a factor of 4, which is a perfect square. So since we can do 4 twice, 16 is actually the biggest perfect square. That is a factor of 48. 16 times 3 is 48. And the square root of 16 times 3 is the same thing as the square root of 16 times the square root of 3, which is 4 root 3. All right, no more perfect square factors underneath the radical sign. That's simple radical form.